past few years, collective research has debunked the popular myths that a high-fiber diet lifestyle can cause unfinished housework, late dinners, and neglected family members. In fact, continuing studies show that a high-fiber diet lifestyle may significantly improve the disposition of a crafter, creating a more contented home life. Furthermore, continued exposure can develop an ability to endure meetings, waiting rooms, school functions, and sporting events without experiencing the kind of boredom it makes one want to consume lead paint. Here are just a few ways one can properly increase daily fiber intake. Visit your local yarn store or shop online. Join online fiber communities. Tour sheep or alpaca farms. Attend fiber festivals. Or listen to the High Fiber Diet podcast. Please remember to spread your fiber intake throughout the day rather than trying to get it all in one shot. Stretching and resting is important, and your body will thank you.
Hi, this is Kagi, and welcome to the High Fiber Diet. Just getting situated here. It takes a minute. Different area. My office is filled up with office stuff right now, so I need to get that organized, and so I'm not recording in there. But welcome to the end of August, and yeah, last episode I went through a lot of stuff that I needed to get done, and I cast on more things. It's just how it goes, right? I did finish a couple. I have a couple of acquisitions, which you can see over here. I went to Michigan Fiber Festival, and I did work on some things that were already on the needles. So I have one finished object, and that is my Lent socks, the ones that I started in Lent. And I don't remember the person who dyed this. I do know that it was called After the Storm and Rainbow. And I did gray and a really bright blue. I believe the blue is Malabrigo, I think. And I believe this is Heritage, but don't quote me on that. So I did finish them. I did the heel a little bit different. I did a slip stitch heel, and then I work a couple rounds back and forth straight so that it gives a little bit more give in a slip stitch heel. And in doing that, I have to do about 4 gussets going down so that it fits. And this fits my foot. I did not bring in sock blockers. You guys know what socks look like. These haven't been washed. They haven't been worn. In fact, I don't know if I'm keeping them for myself or if I'm giving them away as a gift. They do fit my feet, so it just depends on how I feel at the time that I need something, or if I've worn them, then no, they're mine. So that was my one finished object. Things that I already had going. I finished up the tubes on my Opal socks. They're just a little bit fraternal. I'm not worried about that. I don't need socks to match. And I need to find out if, again, I'm keeping them or giving them as a gift. If I am, then I'll put in the heel to whatever size that person is. If they're for me, they're going to go in right about that pink stripe there, that little pink stripe. So another pair done except for the heels, and that is in my Be Happy bag. Love carrying this one in my purse. I did have to find a handle for it. It says Proud Veteran on it. I picked it up at the VA, but it works perfect to be able to close easy. So that's where I got the handle to that. Another that I worked on during the week. I know it's only been a week. This is weird. I have time. I did work on the second hot cocoa sock, and that just means that I got a couple more rounds of the garter rib done. I didn't work much. I think I got 4 rounds done, and I picked it up and knit it. This is being done on, these were done on a size US 2 double point sock sticks. These are being done on a US 3 Knitter's Pride, whatever their colorful double points are. And it's being held in a Stitched by Jessalou bag. I love wearing socks. It isn't something that I knit on. It used to be that I would do a pair of socks a month, and that was easy, and it just, I have become a non-monogamous knitter over the years. As you saw, I have, many things to work on, and it depends on my mood and how my hands feel, whether I want to work with big needles or little needles, or whether I want to crochet or whether I want to spin. There's a lot going on with what I'm deciding on when I'm deciding to do anything. Another sock that I worked on, I did this while we were going on a lighthouse tour, which I'll talk about, hopefully I remember to. These are my ducky socks. I have pulled back the ducky sock because it didn't fit. It was going to fit like a size 6, and I don't know anybody who is a size 6. So I pulled it back, and I'm going to knit it longer, and I have enough yarn to do that. So I'll knit back with what is attached already, and then I will continue on with that. I have the second one going. These are on ChiaoGoo needles, size 3. It's DK weight. This is executive producer by Chicken Lady Fiber Arts, and the second sock is going. The pattern is Duckies. It is a free pattern, and this is in my hippo bag because hippos make me smile. So that is what is going there. Did a little bit of car knitting while Sarge was driving. Another one that we have seen is my Love sweater, and that's LUV, and it's actually Love Pullover is the name of the pattern. And I have finished the first ball on the front, so I stopped, and I knit up one sleeve, and I did the Swiss darning right there on the arm, and I did the 1x1 ribbing with the 2 rows of stockinette, and then I did an extremely stretchy bind off, which is you yarn over before you do the next knit, and then you pass both the yarn over and that knit over, and it gives a nice edge that looks a lot like a cast on edge. So it's very much a chain edge on the sweater. And I just, right now, I'm into having a little bit of a roll, a finishing look. And so the neck, when I cast on, I did a crochet cast on, so it again has that chain look. And then I did 2 rows of stockinette, so it again has that rolled look that I'm going for. My changes on this is I did a few short rows in the back, enough that it brought it up just a little bit in the back. And this arm, if I keep it for myself, it will fit, but Boo is just a little bit smaller than me, and I think this would fit her as well. So I don't know if this will be going with her. I am currently working on size 11 ChiaoGoo shorts, and that's for the second sleeve. There's 50 stitches from armpit to ribbing, and then I did 12 rows of ribbing, and then the rolled bind off that I wanted. And as soon as I'm done with the second sleeve, I will just finish up the body. I have 3 more skeins of this yarn, so plenty. My bag hit the floor, so I'm just gonna toss it down there. I am using Lion Brand Hue and You yarn in the sea glass colorway, and the hearts for the elbows and the hearts that I put the Swiss darning is done in rows. So next, what do I have here? That was a kit that I had gotten from Lion Brand, so everything came with. And the pattern you can find on Ravelry and also on Lion Brand, or just look up Love LUV pullover. So the final thing was I was going through a bunch of stuff looking for what I was going to do at Michigan Fiber Fest and making a little bit of a plan, because I don't like to go into it. And originally I was like, I'll get a skein of yarn. I really don't need a whole ton. Yeah, I blew that out of the water. But I found a whole bunch of scraps of DK, and this is the one that started me off. These were socks that I had done last year. I think they were cranberry relish or something like that. It was something to do with Thanksgiving. And I found my Bunny Love, which is another one. And then I had some yarn left over from when I did different projects or just minis I hadn't used. And so I started just a simple cowl, and all these ends need to be woven in. But I went through and I had done another cowl out of this color. I believe this was from Mace of Skeins. This, I want to say this is Sweet Mountain Craft. Maybe wrong. This one, I'm not sure where the bright orange came from. I think it came with this as well as the dark purple as mini skeins that went with this. Or this could be one that I picked up last year at Michigan Fiber Fest and I've just forgotten. And then that would have been Frogget yarn, I believe. So, and then I had a turquoise left over. And then I went back to this color, and then I threw in a little bit of this purple, but I think it's too variegated. So I stopped with that, and I'm going to finish this. I have now brought it together in the back, and I'm working in rounds instead of rows. And I'm going to do 3x3 ribbing, and I'm going to do that for at least 3 or 4 inches. When you put it over, it's going to be a nice length with another 3 inches here, so that'll kind of fold down. And if you don't like a color, it's not going to be there. I don't know if this will be a gift or if I'll keep this for myself because of the memories that it invokes. I started with a 3-stitch garter band, did my short row garter band, so it's back and forth, creating a new loop each time, so that's easy. And I did that for 4 increases, though you would think 3 would be enough. I do it for 4, so that's 8 rows, just so that it gives a nice turn instead of doing it for the 3, which tends to be tight. And then I continued out as a typical top down, using the 4th turn as one of the 3 stitches on the end. It just makes it a little bit easier to finagle in the beginning. And all I did was on the right side row, the stockinette side, I did an increase at each end and an increase before the center and after the center stitch. And I did purl back, no increases whatsoever. And it just made a normal triangular shawl. And once I reached 100 and it's either 121 or 122, I think it was 121 because it's a odd number. I then added 3 stitches at the beginning, knit across, added 3 stitches at the end, and then worked in the round. And I'm about 6 rows into working in the round. And this will be done when this is just about done. And then I don't know if I will do a garter at the bottom just to make it pop, or if I'll do a picot edge. I could do either. Picot edge I do with crochet. It's simple, but it just depends on how I feel when I get there. There's no real plan and absolutely no pattern for this. And this is being held in a bag, Button and Boo, that was from a past advent. I really like this little bag and I use it a lot. So I think, yep, I think that is it for what I am working on. Yeah, we went to Michigan Fiber Fest. As you can see, I have some things now. I have some prizes to give out from when we were doing Olympic knitting, and I haven't gotten those mailed out yet. I'm sorry, but life at work got crazy, so I haven't gotten to the post office yet. So everything's here, and I'm just going to show it all. I'm not going to say what's prizes and what's not. I'm just going to go for it. From Woolly Knob, who I have known for ages. They are the ones that carded and prepared my very first fleece I ever bought. I picked up some balls of fluff. I believe this is Shetland. I may be wrong, but I believe this is Shetland. And they dye it, and it's got the purple undertones. I hope that's picking that up. I think it is. And it's a nice pink. I think if you prep it with a lighter color or a darker color, it will either become a pop or it will tone it down. And so that's what I'm gearing towards with this. I also purchased, I hope their name is in here, gorgeous ball. Yep, she put her from Spinning Moon Farm. This is a Romney Cross, 8 ounces. So, if that allows you to see that. And this is a beautiful, beautiful brown. And it is so soft and so nicely carded. I have a ton of combed in the other room. I wanted some carded prep for more woolen spun. How do you tell the difference? Spaghetti. Combed top is like spaghetti before it's cooked. The fibers are all going in the same direction, just like combed hair. It's nice, it's sleek, it's easy. It's not too grabby. It tends to be slick and lets worsted spun be spun easier with that. A woolen spun is normally off a carded type of prep, and then that is spaghetti after it's cooked. So it's all jumbled up, and so you can see that there aren't any fibers going in the same direction here. It's nice and curly. I mean, yeah, you can pull it, and it's gonna give you a bit of a pull, and it looks like everything's going straight when you go, but when you put it back, it's gonna be all curly again. So it depends on what kind of yarn you want at the end as to what kind of prep you buy when you're looking to spin. So that's 2 of my purchases. Then I found this lovely, and it is just over 2 pounds, just a smidge. And this is, yes, crinkles, because I'm not pulling this out and setting it on my counter. This is South Down. It's black wool baby doll cross. I'm sorry, not South Down, baby doll cross. And this is from Spruce, like the tree, a Spruce Shadow Farms in Hubbard Lake, Michigan. And she has wool and roving. She says she has a Facebook group. She doesn't have any kind of site online that she sells, but she sells through her Facebook group. And this prep on this, see what I mean about it's not straightforward. It's got it all over in different directions. So this is another woolen spun. It's a draft. It's got a lot. Sheepy, very sheepy. It's clean. It does have some VM in it, but that's just the type of sheep it is, and that they weren't coated. They didn't have a coat on them. They had enough fiber on them to stay warm, and they didn't, especially keep them clean. I mean, even if you keep them clean, these kind of sheep are attractants. It's like Velcro. It's going to attract whatever's out there. So this is a baby doll, and it's considered black, but as you can see, it's a very dark brown. And so I have a full sweater's worth, if not more than a sweater's worth. It normally takes 1.5 to 2 pounds, depending on the sweater that I'm going for and the weight of yarn and how many plies I'm doing, as to how much I'm getting out of it. So I picked up the full lot that she had on this, and I'm excited to get that on the wheel. It's going to be heavenly to work with. And then before I get in the yarn area, Sarge in the Sheepy Bits fell in love with this bag, and he's like, "You just have to have it." I'm like, "Okay." I just had to have it. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's like an old carpet. It's woven, so that's nice. And on the inside, it's put together with this big button, just a slab. It has like ticking for the handles, and it is a really long handle, so it's going to be a nice carry bag. It has, let's see, can I find the frog? I know there's a frog in here. Yep, there's the froggy. Can you see him? And it has pockets, and it's nice and big. And so Sarge, he went with me to Michigan Fiber Fest. He treated me to this bag, so I appreciate it. And it will be used quite a bit. Big projects or weekends away. Works for me. One of the reasons I went on Friday was that I knew Briar Rose was going to be there. And if you haven't been on her group lately, or you haven't heard, the owner of Briar Rose is dealing with some health issues. And she said she was only going to be there that day, and I wanted to go. So I headed up there, and I needed enough yarn, and I only brought one out, to do Sarge a sweater. And so I think I have talked about that I'm going to do Stick Season by Rebecca Clow, who is the Creabea. I don't think I pulled that up. Let me see. I may have. Here are the other skeins that I got in the Briar Rose. And I'm going to have to sort them together to make them all come out so that it looks right, but she's not dyeing much anymore. So I got what I could so that the yarn matched. This is 4th of July from Briar Rose, and I am not seeing a Stick Season. So let me see if I can go in and pull it up. And I think we've all seen it, but it's better to show. He has chosen this to be his, hopefully, Christmas sweater. And he wants it pretty much like that, but out of the yarns that I have chosen. And I did a swatch, and this does call for rather small needles, and you know I'm a super tight knitter. This calls for the largest of a 4 for a DK, and I'm normally an 8 for a DK, a 10 for a worsted, and that was what I found out on this. These are size 7 that I will be using to do the ribbing, and then I will move into an 8 for the patterned part of the sweater and for the rest of the stockinette. And I think this is going to turn out fabulous, and It is super soft and wonderful. So check out Briar Rose. Put those down so it's not in the way of the camera. Then we stopped and got lunch. While we were getting lunch, the lady in front of me was wearing the butterfly shawl. And it's a papillion or butterfly. And I'm like, I have to find yarn for that. I need it. I know it's short rows and I'm not huge on short rows, but I need this. And hers was like a spicy mustard color with something else, and she had like 3 or 4 different colors in there, and it was gorgeous, but it wasn't my colors. And so let's see, how can I do this? I went to Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I'm like, okay, Steve. He remembered me, I remembered him. It was great. We got to talk for a few minutes, saw Andy for a minute, and that was lovely. But, so if you haven't seen Leading Men Fiber Arts, here's this. He is now on Patreon, and he records once a month. And the reason he's on Patreon is he is trying to build up finances to finish off the second half of the building that they own for their store. And so I think it's a really good thing. I went and joined it. It's $1 a month, and it's the same thing I do with the Yarn Hoarder. Those are my 2 Patreons, and it's because both of them are honest. I'm only going to give you one a month. I'm not going to do anything special, and this is why I'm doing it. One of them, Yarn Hoarder, uses it to donate to charity, and Steve says that he's using it to build up the building for the shop expansion, and I think that's great. But I picked up Showstopper, and this is the colorway PSL, so Pumpkin Spice Latte. And I adore this. This is going to be my main. And that's if I go with this, because after I went here, I found yarn at a different spot. So it's like, okay, what am I gonna do? So I've got a couple ideas. So I have the Showstopper in Pumpkin Spice Latte. I picked up the colorway Black Walnut, and then there was Maud. And then the complete fire starter set. And the complete Spice Market set. And the reason I bought these 2 is because of the purples that are in here. And though, yes, purples are fall colors, purples are not my colors. So I can use those on socks and throw in these and have enough yarn if I decide to go this route. So this is from Leading Men Fiber Arts, and I'm going to do, hopefully, the butterfly. The other yarn that I found for the butterfly, because I was just walking by a booth and this screamed at me, and you're gonna see why I say screamed. This is from North Woods Fibers. See how it screams? It's just going, hi, take me home. So these are Does It Come in Pink? And everybody knows that pink is what makes me smile. And then this one is Turbulent Seas. It's not quite a blue, it's not quite a black, it's got a hint of purple, but I think with this, it's gonna play famously. And so I don't know if I'm going to do a subtle and keep it fall, because you know fall is my favorite color, or if I'm going to keep it happy and wabam And in the middle of February, when I'm dealing with ice storms, be able to pull this out and go, I can be happy today. So, things I have to get on the needle. And I don't know if it'll be this year or next year that I knit these up. Hopefully this year. But, yeah, I was excited to get that. And then Sarge and I stopped. I don't know if a lot of people know that Sarge is now on a cane. It hurts him to walk around a lot. And that was, you know, the last year we were in South Dakota, he had a lot of surgeries done. And though he's still able to work and he's still able to do things, he's just not able to do as much as he used to. And so we took some breaks during the day and we got water and we sat for a few and we talked. And during that time of doing all that, we were at a break point and I got a call from my bank. They thought that my card had been robbed, and thankfully it hadn't, because I had just dealt with this 3 weeks ago with the local county fair, and my card had been ripped off there. But this one was just because, you know, Leading Men Fiber Arts was in Indiana, and then I'm showing in Michigan, and then I'm showing and they're like, no, there's too many bounces and it's the same amount, because when you're buying the same amount of yarn, you're getting charged the same amount of pricing, because prices are pretty even. And I had to explain, no, I'm at a fiber festival and I'm okaying all these purchases, so we're good. But thank you to my bank. And I mean, I was using a bank credit card, not a bank debit card, thank goodness. But it's still a pain in the butt. And thankfully they called, I had service, and I was still able to do everything else. But after that, Sarge just said, you know, I'm going to sit for a few. Why don't you run through the last building yourself? And so I did. And he had actually asked me to talk to a friend about basket weaving, because he saw some of the baskets that were there and he's like, when can I take a class? And I said, well, we don't have to wait until next Fiberfest to take a class. I have a friend that does basket weaving. I'll see if she teaches or if she knows somebody else that teaches. And she did, and she's going to get me in touch with that. And so we're going to learn how to basket weave. I don't know how. My mom used to, but I don't know how. So while I was out looking around, I found this booklet for edible and medicinal plants of the Midwest, and common edible species, medicinal species, and toxic species. And it's this pull-out, completely laminated. It wasn't that much in cost. I really like the idea of it, especially with, you know, going up north and doing things and just things we can see. And it's kind of cool to know what's out there and what isn't, and what's good for you and what isn't. So I picked up that. Wasn't that expensive. And then I went to Apothecary, and I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, I thought you had shut down. I had been told through rumors that she had shut down. And she said, nope, nope, nope. This is how I make my living. This is how I keep my kids fed. I am still going. And I'm like, because I love her stuff. I still have some fiber in there from last year, so I'm not doing the fiber this year. But she had her DK weight yarn, and I picked up, I don't think she has colorways listed on them. You can find them on her website, Apothecary Fabrications. And it's Apothefery. Just look it up online. This is machine washable, 100% fine merino wool. So this is superwash. That's fine. This was the first one I found. And as you can tell, it's, you know, the colors that I love. And then I'm like, what can I do? Let's pull in a little bit of blue. So it's got the yellows and it's got the blues. And then we were looking for a darker walnut to pull it off with these three. She was out of walnut. She had it in her linen blend, but she didn't have it in this blend. So I pulled out this pop. And with these 4 skeins, that's 1,000 yards. Yeah, that's 1,000 yards. And what I am looking at making is, ooh, I knew I had it. Here we go. It is the V-back top. And I think that out of these 4, in exactly this way, most people would put the light at the top, but I think the yellow's great, but I think the darker will play better. And so I'm going to do it in this way of putting them together so that I can do that. And I think that would be best. And I don't know when I'll cast that on, but I look forward to knitting it. So that was it from Michigan Fiber Fest. But wait, that's not all. I had gotten a package in the mail. I forget where I picked it up from, but it is this sewing and embroidery kit for this little bag that will hold my crochet hooks. And there isn't a ton of direction with it, but it's an embroidery starter set. So it comes with the embroidery, and it comes with the bag, the batting, the everything, even the hoop, and the zipper. And so I will be trying my hand. I'm not great at embroidery. I've done it a couple times. I'm still learning. I saw this online and I'm like, yep, give it to me. So I'm going to try. So I think that's it on what I purchased, but I have a few things that I have to go over because these were promises made at the very beginning of the year that I would make for Christmas. And that means I need to get off my tail and make these things. And I'm okay with that. So first up, my brother contacted me and said, I found this picture. Can you make it, but make it a bat? Can I what? And so I went in and he sent it via Messenger. So it's a Facebook post, and of course it's not there anymore, but let's see if I can. It is this little doorstop that is a mouse, and he loved it, but he wants it to be a bat. And what is a bat but a flying rat? And since this is a rat, I went and I bought that pattern from Etsy, and then I went on and found a pattern for a bat, which I liked a little bit better, and that's much smaller. This is Vladimir the bat. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hack it, and I'm going to make this much bigger in the bigger yarn so that it goes, and then between his neck and his body I'm going to do the flat portion of the rat, but then I'm going to do the big ball portion of the rat to hold it as a door stopper, and you do have to have a ball that goes into it, and then do his little feeties and do the outlines. And I think I'm going to do it instead of orange and black, I'm going to do it, or orange and purple, I'm going to do it in shades of grays and blacks, like a fruit bat would be. And so yeah, I'm going to do a batty doorstop. So that's one that I'm doing. Then last year for Christmas, I found out that my daughter-in-law and my daughter collect reindeer. And so I was like, okay, I gotta do this and I gotta do it right. And I just gotta. So I am purchasing this pattern. It's a crocheted reindeer. Yes, there's a knitted one that I like too, but this one would be quicker to make up. And you use pipe cleaners for the antlers to make sure they're nice and stiff. And I don't know if I'm going to do a wood slab or not. It just depends on if I can find one. And I don't know if I'm going to do the holly bow. It's just, I'm going to do a trophy deer for each of the kids for Christmas so that they can put them on their wall for the future Christmases in life. And I have enough woolies. I have 3 more skeins of this that I think it's going to be a white reindeer with brown antlers. And I'll get a little bit darker brown of the woolies because I have enough of this in stash and I'm trying to stash down as much as I can. I have it, I want to use it. So believe it or not, yes, I do use the stash I have. It's not just there for insulation. But I also promised Boo last year, that's my daughter if you're new here, a raccoon scarf. And I had bought this book, Knitted Animals, Scarves, Mitts, and Socks. And this is by Fiona Gobble. And the raccoon is this, and that's kid size. And so I'm going to have to do it in adult size, but I wanted to give it a little bit of a twist. So I have some, this is vintage, or is it owl? I don't know. It's a acrylic wool blend, and it's Barocco, so I think it's Barocco Vintage DK. So I have this, and I have some woolies in black, and then I have this, which is Kobasi DK by Haiku. And what's lovely about this is it looks white and it'll do white, but when you put it in the sun, it changes colors. And I think this one goes hot pink. And so it would be, instead of a black, gray, and white, if you're in the sun, it's black, gray, and hot pink. And let me look at that to ensure that this is the pink. This is a bamboo silk elastic. It doesn't take much. Yeah, it doesn't say which color this is, but I know it's color changing. And so I'm going to do her a raccoon scarf. And it doesn't look like it's that hard. It looks like a sock toe with ears, and you put buttons for the eyes, and then the main part is just the gray going through. That's why I have a full skein of that, and then the tail is the stripe between the two. So I think it will work out very nicely, and she'll get a raccoon scarf for Christmas. I haven't decided yet. That's the scarf in its entirety, so you can see it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do mittens or not, but if I'm doing the reindeer as well, I don't know. But my granddaughter's 15, and I don't know, I may do something for her. She's in cross country, and I just need to get with her. I know she's highly into dogs, so I could do the doggy scarf or something like that for her. She's 15. I don't know if she'd wear it or not, but I know that my 32-year-old daughter would definitely love it. So there's that. Other things we did, and last week I tried to put pictures in. That's why I'm showing things on my iPad, because iMovie just would not allow me to do any editing whatsoever other than cutting off the beginning and the end when I turn it on and when I turn it off. And then I think it took me almost 2 days to upload. So I don't know if it's my internet or if it's my phone, which I'm only at like 14% of my memory on my phone. So it shouldn't be my phone. But Sarge and I decided to go on our first official Michigan Adventure. And we have those books that I've shown that are the Michigan Adventure. We have the Lighthouse book and we have the State Park book. Well, we went on our first adventure for the State Park book and forgot to get photos, so we have to go back. This time we took photos and we went to White River Light Station up in Whitehall, Michigan. And this light station was pretty cool to look at. We didn't get to go in because it was closed. We went a little bit later in the day, but it's a really fun looking lighthouse. It was right there. We didn't have to walk out to either one of these. We have walked piers before and we will again. It's just we're doing a couple that are close to home. We just took a day trip, went up, had dinner. Then this one was built in 1875 and it has a survey marker for Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, a survey marker. So that was pretty cool to see that. We had a good time. We met some puppies while we were there. A couple puppies had just been adopted, but we were on our way up to the Petite Point Au Sable Lighthouse. And this one was completed in 1874, but was started in 1872 for the funding. And it is a little lighthouse. That's the sign out front. You can see the lighthouse in the back. But this one is right off a little jut out. I know I'm doing this on the wrong hand, so we'll do it on this hand. There we go. If you look, where I live is about right here on the hand. And then you have Muskegon, which goes in just a little bit. And then just a little bit of a jut out is right here, is Whitehall. And that's pretty much, hold on, am I right? No, I live here. The jut out is where the finger is going up. So it's down just a little bit from where I talked about. But it's on that side of Lake Michigan, and I wasn't born here, so if I do it wrong and you want to laugh at me, I don't care. But Sarge and I were able to walk out, and then we set up our chairs, and we were there for sunset. This was the 150th anniversary, the day of. So I think this is the picture that I'm going to get for the wall. Clean it up a little bit, but I think that's the one that I'm going to put. I have a wall here. I know you can see part of it, but this whole wall, other than the armoire that needs to be moved into Sarge's office, that is nothing but pictures, family pictures, and the fun of that. And I did go down in the sand finally and get photos of it. We were there for the sunset, so we watched the beautiful sunset on the lake. We had dinner while we were there, and of course packed all our lunch out. But this is Sarge up by the lighthouse, and I had walked down because the dunes are a little steep. So it was a fun day. We were gone, 3-4 hours. It was nice. And then we went out and we had a bonfire that night, but we just decided that we needed an adventure. We needed to get out of the house. I have been working with my wildflowers outside. This is our home, and I've done the front, and I have really tall wildflowers, so those have been taking some of my time. And it's just been a nice time. A couple weeks ago, I talked about sending an Afghan to my niece who has breast cancer. She had surgery on Wednesday, and she is doing okay. She's back home, recovery mode. And they found it was only stage 1, They're looking at lymph nodes. They don't think anything's wrong, but I am keeping her in my prayers. If you are as well, I appreciate it. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't have any fun stuff other than that to go over. So there we go, less than an hour, folks, and I have to edit some of this, and I'll try to put names in, but I tried to push as much with the names as I could because iMovie's giving me problems. But you guys check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet. Please like and subscribe. Share if you can. Bye-bye.